It's fascinating. Professional mentors have found out that after the first basic human need for survival, second to that is the need to know that we are good. Hi, my name is Sister Mary Grace, and I am a sister of life, and this is Ascension Presents. I think there can be an unexpected pressure that we don't always name to do something good with your life, to make something beautiful of it, as if we have to prove our goodness. It's something that we can judge or calculate by how many friends we have, or what we do or don't do, what our plans are for the future or the lack of them. But I believe that there is so much more to you than what you do. There is a lousy lie that says that your goodness is dependent on your success. If you fail or you're frail or you struggle to do something, then it's just a building evidence against some badness within you. But that's simply not true. In fact, it's a lie. God thought of you in his heart first. He loved what he thought of you. He desired you to be, and he chose you to be now. The next breath you take, the beat in your heart, it's a result of God sharing the goodness of his own life with you. Goodness is at the core of who you are. So why is goodness sometimes so much easier to see in other people than to see in ourselves? I think sometimes it's been understood that our goodness is something that we have to talk ourselves into, something that we have to build ourselves up in, like positive thinking or high self-confidence. But your goodness is the truth of who you are. It's something we can't prove, and actually we can't convince ourselves of it. And we discover it when someone reflects it in us, when others see it in us first. As much as we want to figure out why it's so easy to see goodness in someone else, I just want to pause on this reality, because I think that in you and me lies a secret capacity, a strength to see goodness in other people. The people entrusted to us in our lives are waiting on you to see their goodness. And when you see it, when you believe it, when you notice it, when you name it and reflect it to them, you're giving that person permission to be themselves. And that is a power, a capacity this world is desperately in need of. You being you, and you seeing that goodness that only you can see in another. And some really awesome news about this? When you see the goodness of someone else and name it, you're living from the core of who you are. You're living out of your goodness, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or struggle to believe it. When you see the goodness in someone else and name it, you are good. You're living from the deepest and most central part of who you are. You have permission to be yourself, to see the goodness in another and name it. I think more often than not, we can underestimate the power God gives us to see the goodness in others, and we're afraid to use it. But this is a power we need. We need to see more of. We need to see more of in each other. So this truth is not just about surviving, it's about thriving. Living out of the truth of our own goodness that has a capacity to see the good in another. Not to be envious of it or compare, but name it, embrace it, help that person to see their goodness. And the beautiful thing about your goodness is that you can't prove it. You can't earn it. It's not something you can build up or achieve it. It is in you. It's who you are. And you and I have the freedom and the choice to respond from that goodness, to live from that goodness. It's the authentic you. So how can we be restored to our goodness? How can we live from this truth more freely? Sisters and I were on a campus recently. We were handing out stickers that had little nuggets of truth. And one of them said, "You are irreplaceable." We handed this out to one of the students passing by, and he looked at us and said, "Sisters, I hope one day that I can believe in that." What if today is that day for you and me? Again, not something that we have to earn or figure out, but accept that we are good. And the only reason that we exist is because we're living from the source of goodness, God himself. It's not on you to figure it out or keep it up. It's who you are. We can look around and see that the industry of self-help is booming, but self-help denies us of the capacity to depend, which you and I were created with. We were never meant to do this alone. We were never meant to figure out our way alone. It is not on you to create your life, to make something good of it. You were born to behold it. Your life is a gift. And this is revealed to us in the relationships we enter into, but first and foremost, the relationship with Jesus, who in his gaze reflects and reminds us of the goodness that is inherently within us. He alone can totally fulfill this insatiable craving that you and I have to know our goodness. This is first and foremostly seen in the life of Jesus. Jesus constantly lived from the gifts and the goodness from his Father. He didn't do anything on his own. He didn't solo strive. Jesus was constantly open hands, receiving from the providence of his Father, relying on that, depending on that, looking for it, asking for it. It's okay to depend on the Father. To be honest with you, this truth is really about becoming human again. It's rediscovering our humanity, that we don't have to do it alone, that there is a God out there that is waiting to help us, that longs to help us, that wants to help us. This is how you and I were created, to be in relationship, and we don't have to strive to get these things on our own anymore. This is relieving news, good news. So this is what I want to leave with you today. I believe in your goodness. Your goodness is true. It's the deepest part of who you are, and you don't have to earn it or prove anything to receive it. Whether you've struggled to believe this or you wholeheartedly accept it, whether others have told you this or this is the first time you're hearing it, no matter what, your goodness is inherently true to you. It's who you are, and you have permission to be you. So let's let love in a little more today. God bless you.